Millions of wealthy, loyal luxury brand consumers who could easily afford a $10,000 handbag are deliberately choosing not to buy one. And this isn't about the economy or affordability, it's about a massive shift in values that's shaking the entire luxury industry to its core. Walk into any Gucci or Louis Vuitton store today, and you'll notice something strange. They're quieter than ever before, with sales associates outnumbering customers, and this dramatic change is forcing these once untouchable brands to question everything they thought they knew about luxury. The truth is, the relationship between consumers and luxury brands is broken, and what we're witnessing is nothing short of a revolution in how people define status, success, and self-worth in the modern world. Whether you've been a devoted luxury customer for years, or you've always wondered what the hype was about, this video will reveal 15 powerful reasons why millions are walking away from brands that once defined aspiration itself. These aren't just minor complaints or temporary trends, these are fundamental shifts in consumer behavior that are permanently changing the landscape of luxury forever. Let's dive into the 15 reasons, and trust me, number 7 is going to shock you because it involves a scandal that brands desperately tried to keep quiet. Number 15. The first major reason people are abandoning luxury brands is the shocking decline in quality that longtime customers simply cannot ignore anymore. If you bought a Louis Vuitton bag 20 years ago, that piece would likely still look pristine today, with sturdy leather, flawless stitching, and hardware that never tarnished or broke. Today's luxury items tell a completely different story, with customers reporting that their $2,000 handbags are falling apart within months, showing peeling leather, broken zippers, and stitching that unravels after minimal use. The uncomfortable truth is that while prices have skyrocketed by over 300% in the past 2 decades, the quality has dramatically decreased as brands prioritize profit margins over craftsmanship. Luxury companies have quietly moved production to factories where labor is cheaper. They've replaced premium materials with inferior alternatives, and they've accelerated manufacturing timelines to pump out more products faster. What makes this even more hurting is that brands continue charging premium prices and marketing their goods as heirloom pieces while knowing full well that the quality no longer justifies those claims. Number 14. Luxury brands have become so obsessed with accessibility and mass production that they've completely destroyed the exclusivity that made them desirable in the first place. When you see the same Gucci belt on every third person walking down the street, when your teenager's classmates are all carrying Louis Vuitton bags, and when luxury logos are plastered across fast fashion knockoffs everywhere, the appeal evaporates instantly. The psychological foundation of luxury has always been scarcity and distinction. The idea that owning these items sets you apart from the masses and signals a certain level of achievement or taste. But brands like Coach, Michael Kors, and even traditionally exclusive names like Burberry flooded the market so aggressively through outlet stores, constant sales, and logo-heavy designs that they became commonplace rather than special. True luxury connoisseurs are now actively avoiding the obvious logo pieces because they no longer communicate exclusivity. They communicate that you bought something everyone else has too. The irony is devastating. In their quest to make more money by selling to more people, luxury brands destroyed the very thing that justified their high prices. Number 13, social media has completely exposed the ugly truth about how luxury brands manipulate pricing, and informed consumers are refusing to play along with the game anymore. Thanks to YouTube channels, TikTok investigators, and Instagram whistleblowers, everyone now knows that the handbag you're paying $4,000 for costs the brand less than $200 to manufacture, and that's including materials, labor, and shipping. These eye-opening revelations have shattered the mystique that once surrounded luxury pricing, making customers feel unreasonable for paying such outrageous markups simply for a logo. The transparency of the internet age has also revealed how brands engage in psychological pricing tactics, artificial scarcity, and planned price increases that have nothing to do with improved quality or increased costs. When you discover that Chanel has raised prices on the same classic flat bag 17 times in 5 years, increasing the cost from $4,500 to nearly $10,000 for an identical product, it becomes impossible to see these purchases as anything other than being taken advantage of. Smart consumers are asking themselves a revolutionary question. Why should I pay 10 times the production cost just so a corporation can maintain excessive profit margins and pay their executives millions in bonuses? Number 12. The rise of conscious consumerism has made millions of people deeply uncomfortable with the unethical labor practices that luxury brands have long tried to hide behind their glamorous marketing. Despite charging astronomical prices and generating billions in profits, investigation after investigation has revealed that luxury brands often rely on workers who are paid poverty wages, forced to work in dangerous conditions, and denied basic labor rights. The cognitive dissonance is too much for modern consumers to handle. How can you feel good about carrying a bag that costs someone their dignity to make, regardless of how beautiful the advertising campaign looked? Major luxury conglomerates have faced repeated accusations regarding their supply chains, with reports of exploitation in factories across Asia and Europe where the actual products are made. Even more disturbing are the revelations about luxury brands using materials sourced through environmentally destructive practices or from suppliers with horrific animal welfare records. The new generation of luxury consumers has access to information their parents never had, and they're using it to make purchasing decisions that align with their values rather than simply chasing status symbols. Number 11. Luxury brands have demonstrated such breathtaking arrogance and contempt toward their customers that people are finally saying enough is enough and taking their money elsewhere. The customer service experience at many luxury retailers has become notoriously terrible, with sales associates who treat you poorly if you don't look wealthy enough, stores that make you wait outside in lines like you're begging for entry, and staff who act like they're doing you a favor by allowing you to spend thousands of dollars. This attitude extends beyond the retail floor to how brands handle complaints, with luxury companies routinely refusing to honor warranties, dismissing legitimate quality concerns, and making customers jump through absurd hoops to get defective products repaired or replaced. Hermès has become infamous for its manipulative sales tactics, forcing customers to build lengthy purchase histories on items they don't want just to earn the privilege of being offered the bag they actually desire. The message is clear. Luxury brands see customers not as valued patrons, but as desperate supplicants who should feel grateful for the opportunity to be overcharged. This kind of treatment might have worked when luxury was truly rare and exclusive, but in an era with countless alternatives, people are choosing to spend their money with brands that actually respect them. Number 10. The environmental impact of luxury fashion has become impossible to ignore, and eco-conscious consumers are abandoning brands that prioritize profit over planetary responsibility. Luxury brands produce shocking amounts of waste, from the excessive packaging that accompanies every purchase to the common practice of destroying unsold inventory rather than discounting it, with Burberry infamously incinerating $37 million worth of products in a single year to protect brand exclusivity. The fashion industry overall is responsible for 10% of global carbon emissions, more than all international flights and maritime shipping combined, and luxury brands contribute disproportionately to this damage due to their complex global supply chains and resource-intensive materials. Despite their enormous profits and premium pricing that should allow for sustainable practices, most luxury brands have been slow to adopt meaningful environmental initiatives, often engaging in greenwashing rather than genuine change. The leather industry that supplies luxury goods is linked to deforestation in the Amazon, the production of cashmere has devastated grasslands in Mongolia, and the chemical treatments used in luxury textile manufacturing pollute water sources in developing countries. Young consumers especially are rejecting the idea that true luxury can exist when it comes at such a devastating environmental cost, choosing instead to support sustainable brands or buy secondhand luxury items that don't create new environmental damage. Number 9. The explosion of the pre-owned luxury market has shown millions of consumers that they can enjoy luxury items without paying ridiculous retail markups or supporting problematic brand practices. Platforms like The Real, Vestiaire Collective, Fashion File, and even luxury sections on Poshmark and eBay have made authenticated pre-owned luxury more accessible and acceptable than ever before, completely disrupting the traditional luxury retail model. What's revolutionary is that buying pre-owned luxury is no longer seen as shameful or as settling for less. Instead, it's viewed as smart, sustainable, and sophisticated, a way to access the same items for 50 to 70% less than retail while also reducing environmental impact. The secondary market has also exposed how poorly certain luxury items hold their value, with some brands experiencing such steep depreciation that their products are worth only 30% of the original price within a year, making the retail purchase look financially foolish. This shift has terrified luxury brands because it undermines their pricing power and their ability to position new purchases as investments, especially when customers can clearly see that most luxury items are terrible investments that lose value the moment you walk out of the store. The growing cultural acceptance of pre-owned luxury represents a fundamental rejection of the brand's narrative that you must buy new at full price to participate in luxury culture. Number 8. Luxury brands have completely alienated their core customers by desperately chasing younger demographics with collaborations and designs that feel inauthentic and try hard. The endless parade of streetwear collaborations, influencer partnerships, and logo-heavy designs that dominated luxury fashion in recent years has left traditional luxury customers feeling abandoned and unimpressed. When heritage brands like Dior collaborate with Travis Scott, when Gucci plasters cartoon characters across their designs, and when Louis Vuitton partners with Supreme, the message to sophisticated longtime customers is clear: you and your refined taste are no longer our priority. This strategy has backfired spectacularly because brands failed to realize that you cannot simultaneously appeal to everyone. Attempting to court Gen Z hypebeasts while maintaining the elegant prestige that appeals to established luxury consumers is impossible. The result is that luxury brands now exist in an awkward middle ground, too expensive and pretentious for the young consumers they're desperately trying to attract, yet too trend-chasing and immature for the wealthy customers who once formed their loyal base. Traditional luxury customers who appreciated understated elegance, impeccable craftsmanship, and timeless design are now looking elsewhere, often to smaller independent designers or true heritage brands that haven't sold out their identity. Number 7. The realization that luxury brands offer terrible value compared to alternatives has finally broken through the marketing fog that surrounded these companies for decades. When you can purchase a beautifully crafted handbag from an independent leather artisan for $800 that surpasses the quality of a $4,000 designer bag, or when contemporary brands offer sophisticated designs at a fraction of luxury prices, the value proposition of traditional luxury collapses entirely. Consumer comparison research has revealed that in blind quality tests, moderately priced brands often outperform luxury competitors in durability, materials, and construction, with the luxury premium being attributed almost entirely to marketing and brand name rather than superior product. The rise of accessible luxury brands like Pauline, Demelier, and Strathberry has shown that exceptional quality and beautiful design don't require $5,000 price tags, and customers are voting with their wallets. Even in categories like watches and jewelry, microbrands and independent craftspeople are creating pieces that match or exceed luxury brand quality at a fraction of the cost, making the luxury markup look increasingly unjustifiable. The internet has democratized access to information about what actually makes a product high quality. And armed with this knowledge, consumers are refusing to pay for branding alone. Number 6. Luxury brand creative directors have lost their creative vision and inspiration, resulting in boring, repetitive designs that don't justify the premium prices or inspire customer excitement. Walk into luxury boutiques today, and you'll struggle to differentiate between collections with the same tired monogram prints, uninspired colorways, and safe silhouettes appearing season after season with only minor tweaks. The industry has become so focused on producing commercially safe bestsellers that they've abandoned the artistic innovation and creative risks that once made luxury fashion genuinely exciting and culturally relevant. When creative directors do attempt bold designs, they often miss the mark entirely, creating bizarre pieces that feel more like desperate attention grabs than wearable luxury, leaving customers wondering who these designs are actually for. The contrast with past eras is stark. Previous generations of luxury designers created iconic pieces that defined their times and remained desirable for decades, while today's luxury output feels destined for clearance racks and outlet stores within a single season. Customers paying luxury prices want to feel like they're investing in something special, innovative, and timeless, not purchasing slightly modified versions of the same bag that's been on shelves for 5 years. The creative bankruptcy in luxury fashion has made these purchases feel less like acquiring art and more like paying a luxury tax for mediocrity. Number 5. The aggressive marketing and artificial hype creation that luxury brands now rely on has become so transparent and manipulative that it's turning customers away in disgust. Luxury brands have borrowed tactics from sneaker culture and streetwear, creating artificial scarcity, hyping limited releases, and using influencer marketing so heavily that every product launch feels like a calculated manipulation rather than a genuine offering. The sight of luxury brands gifting thousands of dollars worth of products to influencers who then create sponsored content disguised as authentic recommendations has bred deep cynicism among regular customers who must pay full price. This marketing approach has completely undermined the aspirational quality of luxury. When you see that brands are essentially paying for their prestige through sponsorships and placements rather than earning it through excellence, the magic evaporates entirely. Luxury consumers are also exhausted by the constant pressure to keep up with new releases, limited editions, and must-have items, a manufactured urgency that feels more appropriate for fast fashion than for timeless luxury goods. The realization that much of luxury's desirability is manufactured through marketing rather than inherent in the products themselves has prompted millions to question why they're participating in this system at all. Number 4. The economic realities facing younger generations have created a values shift where conspicuous consumption and luxury logos are increasingly seen as tone-deaf, tasteless, and socially unacceptable. Millennials and Gen Z are dealing with student loan debt, housing affordability crises, stagnant wages, and economic uncertainty that previous generations didn't face to the same degree, making flashy luxury consumption feel inappropriate and offensive. There's a growing cultural sentiment that spending $5,000 on a handbag while others struggle to afford basic necessities is not aspirational, but rather a demonstration of misplaced priorities and lack of social awareness. This represents a fundamental shift from previous decades when displaying wealth through luxury goods was socially celebrated and encouraged, while today such displays are more likely to generate criticism than admiration. The quiet luxury trend that has emerged values wealth that's understated and known only to those who recognize subtle quality markers, completely rejecting the logo-heavy luxury that dominated for years. Young people increasingly prefer to spend their money on experiences, education, investments, and items that improve their quality of life rather than on branded goods that only serve to signal status to others. This values realignment isn't temporary or superficial. It represents a generational rejection of the consumption patterns and status symbols that luxury brands have relied upon for their entire business models. Number 3. Luxury brands have demonstrated shocking hypocrisy by positioning themselves as exclusive and prestigious, while simultaneously engaging in tacky mass-market tactics that undermine their own positioning. The same brands that charge premium prices for exclusivity are now operating outlet stores where they dump inferior quality products made specifically for outlets, while misleading customers into thinking they're getting discounted mainline goods. Luxury brands have cheapened their image through constant email marketing, aggressive online advertising, and participation in department store sales events that make them indistinguishable from mid-market brands. The practice of luxury brands creating diffusion lines and licensed products in categories like fragrances, cosmetics, and accessories has allowed them to plaster their logos across cheap products, training consumers to associate the brand with affordability rather than exclusivity. This strategy creates a perverse situation where brands are simultaneously trying to justify 5-figure handbag prices while selling $15 keychains and $50 perfumes with the same logo, destroying any coherent brand identity. Customers who are paying top-tier prices resent being lumped in with mass-market consumers, while mass-market consumers who buy entry-level products develop familiarity that breeds contempt rather than aspiration. The luxury industry's attempt to have it both ways, capturing both the ultra-wealthy and the aspirational middle class, has instead alienated both groups and left luxury brands looking greedy and confused. Number 2. The rise of individual style and personal authenticity has made branded luxury goods feel like a shortcut for people without genuine taste or personality. Fashion-forward consumers increasingly view obvious luxury branding as tacky and unsophisticated, preferring to express themselves through unique vintage finds, emerging designers, and personally meaningful pieces rather than logo-covered bags that scream for attention. There's a growing recognition that relying on luxury brands to communicate your style or status is actually an admission that you lack the confidence or creativity to develop your own aesthetic identity. The most stylish and respected people in fashion today are those who mix high and low, who champion unknown designers, and who wear clothes in unexpected ways, rather than those who simply purchase the most expensive logo-covered items from the most famous brands. This shift has particularly impacted luxury brands that built their appeal on logo recognition, because those logos have transformed from status symbols into markers of insecurity and try-hard behavior. The cultural conversation around fashion has evolved to celebrate individuality, sustainability, and thoughtfulness over conspicuous consumption, leaving traditional luxury brands looking increasingly irrelevant to the people who actually shape fashion culture. When your identity can be purchased by anyone with a credit card and willingness to go into debt, it's not an identity at all. It's just proof that you fell for marketing. Number 1. The final and perhaps most powerful reason people are walking away from luxury brands is the profound realization that material possessions and branded goods do not deliver the happiness, fulfillment, or life satisfaction that their marketing promises. After years of saving, purchasing luxury items, and achieving those material goals, countless people have experienced the emptiness that comes when you realize the happiness was fleeting and the validation you sought never truly arrived. The psychological research is clear that material purchases provide only brief dopamine hits that fade quickly, while experiences, relationships, and personal growth deliver lasting well-being, yet luxury brands have built their entire business model on convincing you otherwise. People are waking up to the fact that they've been spending thousands of dollars chasing a feeling that luxury goods cannot actually provide, and that the constant pursuit of the next luxury purchase has distracted them from building genuinely meaningful lives. This awakening is particularly common among people who actually achieved wealth and purchased everything they thought they wanted, only to discover that luxury consumption is an empty treadmill that never leads to satisfaction. The minimalism movement, financial independence community, and broader cultural conversations about intentional living have all contributed to this shift away from defining yourself and your worth through consumption. Once you truly internalize that a handbag is just a handbag and that no amount of branded goods will make you more valuable, interesting, or happy as a person, the entire appeal of luxury brands collapses, and you're finally free from the manufactured desires they've worked so hard to create. So there you have it. The 15 powerful reasons why millions of people worldwide are walking away from luxury brands and choosing to spend their money differently, invest in alternatives, or simply opt out of luxury consumption altogether. These aren't just complaints or temporary frustrations. They represent fundamental shifts in values, increased access to information, and a growing rejection of the manipulative tactics that luxury brands have relied on for decades. The luxury industry is at a crossroads. They can continue down the current path of declining quality, mass production, and marketing manipulation, which will accelerate their irrelevance, or they can fundamentally reimagine what luxury means in the modern world. What's clear is that the old playbook no longer works. Consumers are too informed, too values-driven, and too aware of alternatives to blindly worship at the altar of luxury logos the way previous generations did. The revolution happening right now in luxury consumption is about reclaiming power from brands that have taken customers for granted and redefining what actually deserves to be called luxurious in our lives. If this video opened your eyes to aspects of luxury brands you hadn't considered before, or validated feelings you've been having about your own relationship with luxury consumption, drop a comment below telling us about your own experiences with luxury brands, whether you're walking away or still invested in luxury, and what you think the future of luxury should look like, because this conversation is bigger than any one video. Share this video with friends who love fashion, anyone who's ever felt conflicted about luxury purchases, or people who need to hear that they're not alone in questioning whether expensive brands are worth it anymore. The luxury industry won't change unless consumers demand better, and it starts with conversations exactly like the one we're having right here, right now.